owe you a round of applause because we have needed a newspaper in this community for a long, long time. It's one of the things that's really lacking here. And I'm really glad that you guys are doing this and starting to publicize what's going on in Germantown because, we live in this computer age and, not everybody has access to the internet. But print media is a very necessary component of a community, of which Germantown very much is. And I really appreciate all of you coming out. Some of you have played a very, very important role in my helping me get signatures, encouraging me to run. And Germantown has, for a very long time, I think we would all agree, has really needed some new leadership in the most local office in our city government, and that's the city council office, the district council office. For a long time, we've seen the evidence of a lot of things happening, kind of going in the wrong direction, from Germantown High School closing, to the Y being closed, to Town Hall being closed, to our commercial district, to our neighborhoods. And our trash, exactly. Our trash, some people may see in the paper most recently that our GG, the Germantown Special Services District, kind of really let all of us down. I think that was a real indication that really the person that we have right now in office is really not doing the job that we need to have done. The rest of the city of Philadelphia, we see all kinds of things happening, all kinds of wonderful things happening. In Germantown, we have such treasure. We have such community. We have both people that are long-time neighbors, long-time residences. We have these great historical buildings, these great institutions that one time really served this community, and we need a rebirth. And that's going to take leadership. It's going to take all of us, everybody in this room. It's not just going to be me. It's going to be all of us coming together and deciding, hey, Germantown High School, which served this community for 99 years, needs to be reopened in some capacity, in an educational way, maybe also in the arts with the auditorium. There are lots of things we can do, but it's going to take all of us in our local government. And so thus, I'm running to be your city council person in the 8th District because I really believe that without government support and empowering all of us to do what we want to do, it won't happen. And I think some of the evidence of that is the trash that I mentioned earlier and the abandoned buildings we see throughout the community. And I look forward to working together with you, huddling with you in all of our different organizations that we have, which is wonderful. Because it's a way that we can, in fact, be engaged in self-governance, which is really the best kind of governance. We don't need to be told what we need. We all know what we need here. We need a little bit more connection to our local government and our local council person who can play such an important role in how our money is spent. And after all, it is ours. So I would really encourage each of you to get involved in this campaign. I need your help. It's always difficult to defeat an incumbent, okay? But this is a good opportunity. It's the first time in 23 years that we'll really have a head-to-head race here, where the population, the voting population at the end of the day, will have the chance to have a majority of voters will decide the fate of this seat. In the past elections, this seat, there have been a number of people that have run, and thus the disenfranchised voters have been split. And thus, democracy really hasn't been honored because the incumbent has won as a result, not of winning a majority of the vote, but as a result of us being fractionalized. And if we had ranked choice voting in the state of Pennsylvania, we'd all have gotten a new leader that would have been democratically elected a long time ago. Another important part of this is the fact that all of the departments of city government, which get funded by our council people, get public scrutiny of their budgets. Just recently we've learned a little bit about one of the organizations in Germantown, the Germantown Special Services District, that the auditor now for the city of Philadelphia, the city controller, is beginning to audit their dollars and cents. We need to do the same for each of our council people's offices, because our council people's offices, their budgets aren't audited. And they are not publicly audited. And that's an important, very important thing to do, because in essence, they are the departments that fund each of the other departments of city government. And they are the only department, city government, city council is the only department of our city of Philadelphia government that doesn't get audited publicly. They don't have public hearings. And so I would just tell you that's an important issue, because the golden rule applies. The reason why Germantown and Northwest Philadelphia, Nicetown, Tioga, Mount Airy, Chestnut Hill have not been getting the support that they deserve to get is largely because we're unaware of how these dollars are being spent. And so another thing I will insist on when we get elected will be to do just that, to insist that those budget hearings, that the budget the city government works on, or city council works on, gets audited. I'd love to take some questions from all of you. I need your help on November the 5th. That's a big day. I need people at the polls. And we have, I think, 168 polling places.
How much is the budget?
How much is which budget?
For this community.
The district council person gets basically 1/10 of the $5 billion to spend, in city services, but then they also get discretionary money. It's about $1.25 million depending on...
And there's no accounting for it?
There's no public accounting for it.
There's no way to subpoena records?
Well, the Inquirer brings it up all the time that we should have public hearings on city council's budget. They aren't willing to do it. Dale Clark isn't willing to do it. John Street wasn't willing to do it because in essence what it leads to is called council prerogative. Basically what that means is your 10 district council people pretty much decide the fate of what other departments receive in terms of funding. They also decide the fate pretty much indiscriminately of what I call their slush money. It's otherwise known as improvement to existing facilities funds. And they're often as much as $1 million a year for each district council person.
And no accounting?
No accounting. There's no accounting, no public accounting.
Little mayors.
And that's exactly right.
Little mayors.
That's right. They're like the kings of their district. And the council people at large are subservient to those towns. Well, I want to insist that city council's budget have public hearings so that we know how those dollars are spent, why are the district council person privileged to have those discretionary dollars where the council people at large are not. And that sets up a very bad precedent. In some respects, you don't really need the council people at large if they are subservient to the district council people, because they have the billy pulpit because they have this title, but they don't necessarily have the control of the populace that the district council person has as a result of having these extra dollars, this walk-around money as it's sometimes referred to.
So this is part of your platform?
Part of my platform is transparency, absolutely, within city council. And that's very important because that's city council, as we all know, is the organization that delegates the dollars to each of the other departments in city government. For recreation centers, for police, for firemen, even for the school district, for instance. We've closed too many.
So how many people here would vote for transparency?
Oh, I think all of us would like
Raise
to.
your hand.
Yay.
Oh, there you go.
Change your name.
It's incredibly important, yeah.
I'm Lillian Grigway.
Why, hello, Lily.
I
recognize her.
We've been married, almost 26 years.
November.
And he first ran for city council, I think in 1999.
Right.
And I'm sort of behind the scenes, so I know his passion for the Northwest and what his vision is and what he wants to happen. And just to give you a visual of how long what he really means about it, I'll show you his first run.
Aww.
This is a picture of his first campaign pamphlet. He didn't have much money. He had 2 children. His courageous. She's 21 years old now. This is her right here. This is our family now. This is how much he loves the Northwest and has commitment to this area. And many a times I've heard his frustration and wanting so much for not just the community, for our kids to thrive in the community. So if anyone asks what you know about Greg Paulmier, just tell him his perseverance and his vision and his love for this area.
I would like to.
Yeah.
I hope people will leave here and reach one, teach one. It is important that each person who's in this room take the time to get some of the pamphlets, get Greg's signs. He can do this. He can do this one by one by one, block by block by block, if we are determined that we want to get better representation in city council. We really have not had good representation for 23 years since Joe Coleman was there.
That's right.
And I've been around, my husband and I have been around all of this time. And we know all the failures of every city council person we've had. I've been posting on Facebook and getting bashed for saying it. But I'm going to keep telling the truth. I'm going to do an article for you guys about all those failures. And we need to step up. Just step up and do it. Thank you. Yvonne Haskins.
That's right, Yvonne Haskins, that's right, with her husband, Harold Haskins, longtime Northwest advocates, really. And we're lucky, we're very lucky. And I hope that everybody here, if you haven't signed the sign-in, you know, we need your help. This is going to be a team effort. You know, we've got a little bit more than a month till this election. This is certainly something we can do. The Northwest could be an example for the whole city. And Lord knows the city needs it. You know, we've been too focused on Center City. In some respects, I'm not sure we should have ever built above City Hall, because ever since we did that, Billy Penn, the neighborhoods have kind of been wilting in some respects, at least the Northwest neighborhoods. And it's time to begin to refocus on what Philadelphia is known for. We're known for our communities.
Answer here.
Our neighborhood.
We got a question there too. And there's a question there too.
Go ahead. Take this gentleman first.
Yeah, so we're fairly new to the area. We've been here about 4 months.
Welcome.
Thank you. And, you know, we see the issues with the trash. Like, we go to Vernon Park, and there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, I was at the point where I was trying to organize and clean up. So, because I don't know the area as well, what are some of your top priorities?
Top priorities, I mean, first of all, we've got to fix Germantown High School to be an asset again in our community. At one time served this community for a very long time. These institutions are incredibly important to the health and welfare of our communities, and they have their history of being that, and they've been really abandoned by our government. So some of my priorities would be looking at these institutions and seeing that they get rehabilitated in the best interest of our communities and reused. I'd like to see our business district, again, serve us with not just goods and services, but with jobs. Employment is a terribly important part of what this community needs. We have so many abandoned housing. Housing, low and moderate income housing, is very important. We have many leftover housing developments from an old CDC that are standing vacant today, Germantown settlement, you know, and they need to be reused for low and moderate income housing. We need to preserve the diverse community that we have in Northwest. Northwest, I think, is probably the most diverse in terms of class, race, gender, in the whole city. You know, I'd like to preserve and make sure that we preserve the green space, you know. But employment, dealing with, you know, I like crime is a big issue, but it's largely a result of the failure of us to create opportunities and jobs by using these different abandoned facilities to do just that. You know, so I mean, I think that really we've got to look at the assets, the cards we've been dealt, and we've got to nurture those cards. And they have a lot to do with the institutions that historically have served this community. They surround Germantown Avenue, they surround Shelton Avenue, and we've got to work with the community organizations that are...
This school, which was a mecca, as you said, for education in this community, would you be open to a charter or...
Well, I'd like to, I mean, I think it's going to have to be developed in bits and pieces because it's a huge building. You know, I'd love to...
600,000 square feet.
Yeah.
But would you be open to a charter school idea? You said an art school?
I'd like to see it educational.
Has anything been proposed at all in the past 5 years?
They're proposing a community school there.
Hold on.
The community is, there's a coalition of people who have been proposing a community school. The community school is a new movement in Philadelphia, where you not only have education, but you have services for the community.
Oh.
Like the Plumps is a good example of that.
A Vox, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Bonk is being excellent.
Would you get behind something like that?
Absolutely. I'd love to see the auditorium reused immediately. It's a 1,000-seat auditorium. You know, the entertainment would be a great way.
Is there any infrastructure issues like asbestos or anything like that?
I'm sure there are, but city government can create a lot of opportunity with that school. And city government has done it in South Philadelphia with the Navy Yard, with so many other institutions in this. Bach, city government was very involved in that. And I think the same thing could be true with Germantown High School. I think it could be a multi-purpose facility, partly educational, maybe some vocational, maybe some arts, maybe even some
But the current
residences.
incumbent hasn't put any emphasis or
Well, it's
focus?
privately owned. That building is privately owned.
Okay.
It's privately owned, but it's a
It was
delinquent
steered to be
property owner.
privately owned.
It's a delinquent property owner, and one of the things, one of
New
the
York,
powers,
probably.
yeah, one of the powers we give our government is the ability to condemn these for the public good.
Exactly.
Housing, vacant
Has that
housing,
happened?
this institution, it's completely inappropriate what's happened. It's already been flipped once. You know, this is an institution that nurtured this community for almost 100 years. And it's sat vacant now since 2013. No wonder we're feeling the effects of that, the crime, the other issues.
It affects
that
the
are
whole
going on.
community.
It affects the whole community.
No question.
Along with the YWCA, town
Yes.
hall,
Yep.
and
Yes.
the
Yep.
abandoned houses. All of these things we need to get involved with because, in essence, they were what we needed
Is
to be.
Clark supporting that, or?
Is who?
Daryl Clark.
Well, I mean, Darrell Clark,
Not involved in
basically,
Germantown.
yeah, he's not the district
Well,
council president.
he's down in Fishtown.
That's his district.
That's his district.
Right,
His
so,
district council.
but he's supposed to be the councilman for all of Philadelphia.
Well, no, he's
He's
the
a
president.
district council.
No, he's
I
just
understand.
chairman of the council.
Yeah, but I understand that, but doesn't he have any influence? It's a secular
Oh, is there?
government.
It should be here on this thing.
No, it's called councilmanic prerogative.
That's right.
Every district council
Council
person
stupid.
has.
Speaks for their own.
I thought about bringing some of those extra
Nobody touches
ones so
it.
people
That's
could
pretty
see
much
that.
it.
That's a sad state of affairs.
Well, it's
Amen.
pretty
Amen
much
to
the way our
that.
government works, and in this district, what we haven't had. are
There's no
enough-
coalition. There's no coalition. Everybody's out for themselves. So
Well,
whoever
she's
grabs
mixing her
the money
reds.
is going to get it first, and everyone else is.
Politics, sir.
Basically,
But that could be part of his platform. I mean, you're still shaping a platform. I mean, I know you have a platform out there, but if enough people argue that this is part of your platform, then go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is drive down Germantown Avenue. You can see the obvious.
Take a sign,
we need people to.
take a sign, a yard sign.
I'm for Greg. Yeah, I know. I think Greg is for
How many
real.
will take a yard sign?
If we had a yard.
If we had a yard.
I don't have a yard, Greg. I'm sorry.
There's yard signs every
You can put it in our window.
In the end, it's going to take us coming together as a community and deciding that, look, we're going to focus on Germantown High School maybe first, or we're going to focus on this first, and we're going to decide what we want there, and then we're going to make sure that our tax dollars come in and nurture that and make that happen.